Whoop. Well, we're not that organised today, are we? Here we go. As I get the ears in my ears. Tommy G, middle-aged millennial, and we are coming to you live from the lovely GC, the Goldie, the Gold Coast, whatever you want to call it. The weather's always the same because it's perfect one day and beautiful the next. In fact, that was their tagline on a advertising campaign of, in fact, a couple of decades ago, and it has stayed. Hey Tom, how you doing? So we are here on the GC. We are going to be talking with, not to, God. I will be getting spoken to for saying that I was going to talk to, but anyway, getting a little too tricky here. So we have the lovely Shivas joining us today because I'm nervous. I'm feeling like a bundle of nerves. Why could that be? Of course, I could be just pulling your leg. But how about we find out? Let's see if Anne is out and about as yet. No, she isn't. So we've just got people joining, including Anne right now. So give me a moment. I don't want to give away everything we're going to be talking about this morning. Well, morning over here on the Gold Coast, but evening if you're in the US. But it is going to be an interesting subject because it's kind of, the nervous system is kind of central to a hell of a lot, right? Along with signaling when we feel pain. But there's a certain part of the nervous system we're going to be talking about which connects into a heap of stuff. So, as I see where we are here, we're going to check viewers. Just bear with me. Share the broadcast. Wow, that's new. Invite. Wow, I can invite people. Look at that. Isn't that great? So just give me a moment while I send out a few invitations to wake a few people up who usually join. And we'll see where we go from there. My God, it's like a heap of people that you can invite here. Okay, we've got some invitations out. We've got some people coming on. Joe, how you doing, buddy? Okay, we've got another Joe. Joe after Joe. And Joe, what up, Tommy? What up? Josie, dude, I know you and I have got a call after this too, right? Talk about some interesting stuff. So, yeah, we're just waiting for Anne to come on as I continue my tap dance here. But you would have seen some stuff that I recently spoke about. What are we on? We're on the middle-aged millennial page right now, right? Of course, the heal.me community began last week. We are burgeoning at 160 plus members just after week one, which is a fantastic start. So I'm really happy about that. Hey, Julia. And we are going to... hey, thanks, buddy. And Anne Shivas is there on the sideline. She's in the wings, waiting. She's asked to join as well. There's no wasting any time now with Anne, now that she's found us. But, yeah, the Heal.me community. And also I've been talking about measuring glucose and glycemic variability, which is an important health marker if you're going to proactively manage your health with insulin spikes, weight management, things like that, and a fantastic device called the Extense that has been launched, which is the world's first non-invasive glucometer. So there you go, right? More information coming on that soon. We've had a lot of interest around that device. So, yo, there we go. Oh,
Hey.
someone's been at the hairdresser. We have makeup and everything. Makeup. Yeah, it's like you just
Girls
come out
do
of,
that.
well, okay, some boys do it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you've just come out of what I think they call in the scene of TV and the movies and coming out of the green room. So
What?
the green room, I think they call it the green room, where you go in and prep if you're someone that's going to be interviewed to go onto a TV show, and that's where all the makeup happens, and you chill out with a few of the other guests and so on. So it looks like you've just come out of the green room onto
It's
the couch, onto the lounge.
That's exactly what I was doing. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Right, see? Okay, I've got a
Cool.
green room right over there for the show. All right, so we have Joe, and we have Joe, we have Denise, we have a few people that I invited just off the cuff, including yourself, because I was wondering where we'd lost you there.
Yeah, it didn't show up right away. How long were you live?
Oh, half an hour. We're about to close out, so you better make it quick.
Okay, got it.
Right, a few minutes. But that was all right. I was just talking about some of the stuff that I've recently announced in the Hill.me community, and also that fantastic little product that I was talking about yesterday as far as where digital health technology is going.
Oh, cool.
With this Extense glucometer device. So no more pricking of fingers to measure glucose. So we're testing that out.
Oh, good.
Got a few people interested. So yeah, it's all cool.
Yeah, because I think
right.
when they first started testing blood glucose, you always had to prick your finger, send it in the mail, and then get info back, right? Yeah, okay.
Exactly, right. And you got to, well, you can do it that way, or you have those little glucometers. Diabetics will have the glucometer, but it's never fun pricking a finger. I mean, when I do the blood tests for, like, I'm checking for D or for omega-3, or I'm checking for food stuff and whatever.
Right.
I always, in fact, you're going to like this, get nervous, Anne, before I go pricking my finger. So,
really? How does that feel?
How does that feel? Well, I'm feeling nervous with this show about being a bundle of nerves. That we're going to be talking about. I'm thinking, hang on, isn't this the pain show? And we're talking about nerves? Well, I guess they are.
We'll get there. Yeah, actually, I made a little list today because I was like, okay, what was like the number one question of people coming into the office, like always asking me, like, okay, you know, I have this symptom, I have this, I have this, I have this, like, what do I do? What's wrong with me? I've been to this practitioner. I'm not diagnosed with anything. I don't know what's wrong. Or they diagnose me with something that, and then they, you know, operate or something and find out that nothing's really wrong anyway, which has happened. Yeah. I have a great story about that at some point. I had a lady, I'll start off actually. She's one that's quite memorable. She came in and had half of her, some of her intestinal tract removed, or work done. Yep. And then she had her gallbladder removed and part of her colon removed. And
she still having these parts?
And still having pain. Yeah. So and they couldn't figure out what was wrong. And, you know, she moved to like a full plant-based diet and so on. And after we worked together for about a year, we kind of figured out, hey, you know, we got to get your nerves under control here because they're controlling you at the moment, which they always do in a positive or negative way. It's just a matter of recognizing, I think, when they're playing a good role or maybe more of a negative role in your body, right? So.
Right. Well, yeah. And then you get some of these phantom type things that happen too, right? Or amputees, where they lose a limb and they can still feel the damn thing. I mean, how does that work?
That's a brain thing too.
Or it still hurts.
Yeah. Well, have you heard of the famous vagus nerve? Everyone's heard of it.
The Las Vegas nerve.
Yeah, it's a big party in there. It's a big party.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I've been there a few times. And let me tell you, it's not great for. It's near fatal experiences, I think, that I've had playing with that Las Vegas nerve.
Yeah, that place will mess up your vagus nerve for sure.
And everything else.
Well, it's funny because I was like, which would also mess up your nerves, right? Like you lose all your money, and then what do you do? Like
they're all connected.
So you know, the vagus nerve got a huge rep. A couple years ago, it became this like huge topic in the media, a huge topic with like yogis, Pilates, everybody go like start working on your vagus nerve, right? Like everyone's heard about it. And I'm pretty sure people even watching are like, oh yeah, I know my vagus nerve. I've heard about it before, but I'm not sure if people actually know what it does or, what to recognize in your body to know if it's functioning properly or not. Right? Like I would actually be interested to hear if people know about this or not. Like the vagus nerve is a large nerve bundle that basically connects your brain down into many organs, your lungs, your voice box. So you can picture it like basically starting here and like ending here. So it's basically that core. It's the conversation that's happening between your brain to your gut to your brain to your heart. and your brain to your lung region, your brain to even, you know, your throat, which is like your voice box, like thyroid, things like that. So it has quite a bit of function going on there. Yeah.
Okay, so it's sort of like the Vegas Strip connects me to many casinos, for example.
Is this,
Is that
yes.
right?
Yes. So
Right, okay.
you're gonna
Yeah.
translate this into Las Vegas. Okay, cool.
Right. I get a lot of bodily functions that connect across the
Right.
strip as well. So, you know,
Yeah.
depending what you're into. Yeah, okay.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so this is
Right,
good.
okay.
So,
Right.
you know, it can give you the feeling of, you know, hunger, fullness, things like this, but it can also give people the feeling of the major symptoms that come in are people, and this is where I kind of clue in. You know, you sit down with your client, you ask them questions, you ask them how they're feeling, and they're able to give you those one-word answers, right? So, oh, I'm feeling anxious, depressed, I have bad digestion, I have headaches, I feel dizzy, I'm fainting. So can you, if or like short of breath, what are some other
Oh,
ones?
this is definitely a bad night at the casino right there. I can feel
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, really bad night.
Right, okay.
So, and even, you know, to the point where they say, oh, I feel like my heart's skipping a beat, right? And then
Oh,
they'll
yeah.
go in
Yeah,
for all
yeah.
these heart tests. That's a really bad night
That,
at the
that's
casino.
that's after the casino where you've headed down to the maybe not such savory places around Vegas. Yeah,
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your
Right.
vagus nerve plays a massive role in your body, and it's you know it can even, you know, play a role in blood glucose levels, which you've been talking about, and
Yeah.
gastric functions and gastric digestion and things like that. So, you know, all the things I just listed off are, you know, the functionalities of what it can do. And then coming back into it, like some symptoms that people will generally speak about to see if their vagus nerve is functioning properly or not, right? So we came
Right.
into, yeah, we came into like those functions that I just mentioned that people mention, like, you know, like anxiety, digestive issues, breathing, like trouble taking a deep breath, which is usually the last thing that people recognize because they'll have like maybe some heart palpitations, and and headaches, dizziness, neck pain, ringing in the ears is another one. So when people come in and they can list all these symptoms,
Jackpot.
yeah, right,
Right, go on. Right.
exactly, yeah. So it's interesting because, you know, I love when people can come in and say, "Gosh, I have all of those," right? And you're kind of like, "Okay, yeah," you know. And
Right.
then you say, "Oh, well, what's life like?" And they're like, "Well, you know, I'm doing okay. I'm a bit tired." And then you start to dig in a little bit more, and they, you
Right.
know, start to actually come out and say, "You know, my days are pretty stressful. I don't sleep well." That's a pretty good one, and so
Right.
on. So let's backtrack. This happened in a
Oh,
Facebook Live with us, like even a while
you need one of
back.
these babies to check, not to
You
make you sleep
do.
better, but to keep a closer eye. This thing rocks. I've been testing this all week. Sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
And apart from the fact it's titanium, the thing doesn't scratch. It's like the second toughest metal on the planet next to tungsten. Tungsten's not commercially applicable. This is. So anyway, it's the Aura ring. So I've been checking it out, and this thing rocks. Regards to sleep quality, I've been watching it. Anyway,
How's it
topic
working
for
for
another
you?
convo. It's working well. It's giving me the right readings. You know, when I've lacked a bit of sleep, I mean, over the last, well, a couple of nights ago, and it was picking that up. My REM sleep was down. Deep sleep was down. Deep sleep is the restorative sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So that's important to get 90 minutes or 2 hours of that. And I got an hour and a half last night, but my REM sleep has been down. And I'm not so sure about REM sleep, apart from that's where you dream, how important that is. But anyway, I'm taking us off tangent here. So
Not really,
yeah.
actually, because that's where you
All
get
right.
like your healing going on, right? And
Totally.
if people don't sleep in that in that deep sleep for a long enough period of time, they actually will end up having things like, you know, pain, anxiety, tensions, things like that, because they don't necessarily get the same healing that someone would if they do end up getting a good solid sleep. Now, there's a million ways
Well,
to help your sleep and so on. So,
right.
yeah,
Drink a lot. No?
like alcohol.
Booze? Alcohol?
Yeah,
No?
yeah, Tommy.
Yeah.
Great
That
advice.
holds off. That holds off melatonin. You have a very light sleep and not deep sleep for
In
restoration.
your
You're doing more damage.
experiences, did it work well for you? Is what I'm asking.
I felt more like I was knocked out, but I learned that thinking, oh, good, I was so far out that I must have had a great sleep where I did not. It just keeps you in light sleep for a long time, unconscious until then. Yeah. So anyway, and all the sugar doesn't help as well, and blah blah blah. But yeah, if you want to lead a short life, get shitty sleep for a long time, and you reduce your longevity.
Mm-hmm.
Or do the opposite and live a longer life.
Yeah.
So,
You want to age faster and look like you're aging faster.
Too.
That's a good way to do it too. For all the people out there that want to look ageless, sleep more, sleep more, and better quality, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. Sorry, Anne, I took you a little bit.
Where was I?
You're on the Vegas Strip.
Vegas Strip, Vegas Nerve. I see that Peter Rouse and Troy's here. I wonder who else is here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we got Troy, we got Joe, we got Denise, we got Liz.
Cool.
Liz Gaylinger.
Oh, Lizzie. Oh, hey, Lizzie. Cool.
I would have pronounced that Gyllinger, but anyway. Christine Bazista, Daisy Santoyo. We got Christine saying hello. Tom DeLong, Perry Boundhill.
Is anyone commenting on the vagus nerve? I'm curious if they've heard about it.
Going down, Ginger Lee Anderson, Joe Stoffischer saying, guys, what? Is that what you meant to say? Guys, circumcised, have vagal nerve issues from the traumatization. Oh my God!
Really?
Huh. Yeah. I'm not commenting on that one. Pete, have you got a comment on the circumcision thing there from Joe? Pete saying he's here. Holy crap, I'm going through the list here. We've got a bunch of people jumping on.
Cool.
Solomon, Dan Spock, and
Maddie
like an Illuminati ring. It does, doesn't it? Craig Woodhouse, Maddie Atanasio. Hey, kids.
Hey, Maddie.
Right, and that's it. Okay, fire away, Annie.
Cool. Gosh, where was I? I was like on a roll, and then someone starts talking about their sleep and drinking, and
threw you off. Yeah, and Oura rings and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it's connected to all these different. I think we were maybe going to head into parasympathetic, sympathetic, but
right. I think a while back we were talking about sympathetic, parasympathetic, and so on, and then I had some questions pop in about the vagus nerve. Someone's like, "Oh, can you tell me about this? My yoga teacher told me it was good," and so on. And I was kind of like, okay, everyone has one in their body, so it's learning how to work with it within your lifestyle, right? And if it's overstimulated constantly, then you're not going to get the digestion that you need, and you're not going to get the maybe the deep breathing and less heart palpitations and less headaches and things like that. So any symptom that I gave you, if you don't have those, then great. But generally, people come to see me when they have those symptoms, or they chat with me and say, "How do I get rid of this?" And they want the quick fix, which actually I can speak about something that's happening, and maybe Peter knows a bit about it too. But they are stimulating the vagus nerve electrically. I guess with like electrical pulses. I've never tried it. I don't actually know much about it, but they've apparently been having good effects with it, like good results in regards to people with seizures and diminishing, the effects of seizures on the body. So when they stimulate the vagus nerve, that happens. And along with arthritic clients as well, they're getting a decrease in arthritis. So it goes to show that when it's stimulated and it's working the parasympathetic system, it obviously decreases, inflammation in the body, which is huge. And everyone's looking to do that because everyone's learning about inflammation these days too. And I think that's...
Sorry to interrupt. Parasympathetic versus the sympathetic. What's the difference between those two?
Give me your explanation. I like your explanation. Yours is good.
On the spot. Oh, God. Okay. Sorry, I was just trying to give you a prompter. For those who didn't know.
Testing you.
So, sympathetic. Oh, my God, I'm sweating it out here now. We just checked my vagus nerve, connecting my brain and my mouth. Hang on, look at the connection of the trigeminal nerve with the vagus nerve.
Yeah, right. I'm not going to, I'm trying to make it pretty general for the public just to understand that. Just the vagus nerve for today. I mean, I guess we could get deeper, but Peter's that very intelligent man that knows everything.
No, the guy's a brainiac.
He is a brainiac. Right? Yeah.
Pete, can you dumb it down for us? So we've got the was it Idiot's book version of it? What was I going to say? So sympathetic, basically it's the part of the system that is required to gets engaged by the vagus nerve, which is because that's the main highway connected to everything. That is for fight and flight,
Right. Okay.
And so years ago, when we were cave people, Neanderthals, whatever, and we're being chased by the saber-toothed tiger, as it
Yeah.
is, it's like, holy shit, we got to do something fast. And so all the parts of our system, where the blood needs to go, adrenaline needs to pump, all that stuff gets switched on, because it's like, dude, get out of here fast.
Right.
The problem is we have a lot of that today in the corporate world. It's the same thing. We're being chased by the corporate saber-toothed tiger, sometimes our boss or the system, right? All day. It's not cool to have the pedal to the metal all day. The other side, parasympathetic, is more to do with the rest and digest part of the system, and it's the longer term survival parts that get monitored there. I think that's my sketch.
Yeah.
Roughly,
So when your vagus nerve is stimulated, and you get the results you want, and I'm going to bring this into kind of an everyday scenario. This is why yoga got super popular, because in yoga, and I'm not really a yogi, so sorry for all the yoga teachers out there, because I mean, I've done it a few times, but anyway, but generally the classes, they get you to stretch, but the whole component of yoga is a lot of deep breathing. If you have a good yoga teacher, they'll say, focus on your breath. I'm sure everyone's heard that a million times. And I love showing my clients the difference of when they came in for their appointment in the beginning, or even when they're just sitting there now. You say, oh, take a deep breath. And they're just kind of like, and it's a quick breath. And this is what they're operating in all day, right? But when you actually take, a 5-second breath in and a 10-second breath out, you're going to stimulate and the vagus nerve. So you get, more blood flow into the heart, really. You don't have those palpitations. You don't have the tightness around the lungs. You have more digestion. Like you just have more blood flow, because the diaphragm, where, that interlines the ribs, has a larger range of motion. So if you can picture it as a balloon expanding inside you, and then, letting go. And therefore, air is going to help that blood flow through you a little bit better, if you think about it on a really basic level. And so that's why, dumbing it down, and why people love going to yoga is because they get that feeling of calmness, they get that digestion. And I don't know how many people I've had come into my practice, or how many people I've worked with that are like, oh, I just got to do yoga, or my wife tells me to do yoga. Like, everyone's saying it, right? And I'm kind of like, I think that's great. However, I'm just going to, be the person on the side. Like, are you actually creating a habitual change in your life? Do you understand why yoga makes you feel so good? Do you understand what's happening in your body when you're taking those deep breaths? I think that is the educational component that people really need to know, so they actually hone in on doing it more often throughout their day, or recognizing when they're not doing it, right?
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, it's really funny. Years ago I would have thought, dude, it's just freaking breathing. It's like, what the hell is that doing to your system? You get air in, you get some oxygen sucked out through your lungs to your bloodstream, and that's what happens.
Right.
But there's just so much more to breath, and it's becoming such a big thing now. Breathing properly in the 4-7-8 sort of box when you're meditating, similar to what you said a moment ago. And for myself, because I'm like with the PH Personal Health 360 epigenetic stuff that I'm associated with as well. In there, my phenotype, being Crusader as they call it, is supposed to be a very nervous health type.
Are you nervous?
I was very nervous. I'm always nervous when I'm on these with you, Anne.
Why is that?
Because then I got Peter on the other side, and sometimes I kind of get sandwiched between the two of you, which is an interesting thought. But where was I, Anne? There we go. Don't spit out your coffee. I don't want to see you. I don't want you having your tea all over your top there. Where was I? So
where were you?
Nervous. You're making me nervous, Anne.
Sorry.
Okay. Let me just escape into some of the comments for a moment when my brain regathers itself. Oh, from Peter Rouse, we have yoga may do more harm than good.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Out.
Yeah.
You're always like the dark side.
He's the outlier.
Everything.
Well, I can agree with him to some extent. And,
Right.
I don't know if he's coming more from like a structural standpoint or whatever. I was just purely talking about breathing and how the yoga teachers, usually present that to people in a class and say,
Right.
you need to breathe deeper and so on. But there's, there's so many apps out there that can help you with that. And there's one I particularly like. Time for the giggle segment. I feel like I giggle so much on here. I need to stop doing that. Sorry, Troy.
I'll stop entertaining.
Yeah. So no.
Which one do you use, Anne?
Well, I use one in French. This is kind of the problems. It's called Respirax. It's like RESPRI. Respi.
Right. Is it like
no R,
recipe,
sorry.
Relax?
Respi,
Right.
and then like
Respi?
dash relax, like same as.
How do you say it in French, Anne?
Respirax. Same thing.
Wow, you're amazing. Okay.
Do you want me to do my lesson in French? Anyway.
Yeah, well, please, for a sentence or two, why not?
Yeah, no, not today. I think all my French
today?
buddies on here they would rip me apart. I never
French,
live that down.
They always do that. If you don't speak it 100% right, you get smashed by the French.
Oh yeah.
I can say that you can't because I'm escaped. I'm safe over here in Australia, I think.
Right. So actually, this app's
yeah.
really cool. It's so simple and it's really easy to use. And I've helped my some of my clients just be more conscious of their breath. Just in regards to using the app. So it's this little ball that sits in a glass of water and it goes up and down. And basically when it's going up, you breathe in, and when it goes down, you breathe out. And you can change the amount of time that it's going up and down to suit you. So generally, when a client's starting out and they're not very good at actually taking deep breaths because they haven't done it in such a long time and they're having pain, in many places, this is generally a great place to start to help them start to remember how to stimulate their vagus nerve. And because it's just way overstimulated. So it's just a really simple trick to sit there and you look at a ball on your phone. It sounds really silly, but it works well. And you can do it at work. You can do it, on the metro, the subway, whatever you guys say. I don't know what you say for that. And going from there. Yeah, the train, sorry. And and so, this app is perfect. Actually, Peter just said what I was just going to say. The second thing when I do it with kids is sometimes it's fun for them to blow up a balloon, to like really inhale and then let it out and try to blow up a balloon. Not those like skinny hard ones that the really skinny ones that no one can blow up. Not those ones because I can't do those.
Okay, I was going to say another thought crossed my mind then, but Peter will probably be the one that blurts it out verbally.
Oh God,
party tricks.
Here we go.
Sorry, whoops,
I can see where this. Yeah, what is wrong with you guys?
I don't know. It's like it's just out there. It's a vagus nerve thing. I'm nervous. All right. Balloons are also good. Come on, Pete. I'm waiting. We're waiting. No condoms. Oh my God, he had
Here
to say
he goes.
There we go. Boom. Okay, thanks. Glad we got in first this time. It doesn't happen often. So, sorry, Anne, back to you.
I'm so sorry.
Why don't you take a break? What I was talking about before.
I thought this was supposed to be 30 minutes long, so I'm like, I'm done. I said what I needed to say. I'm done.
Like 5 minutes.
Sorry, guys.
We lied. Okay, an extended version, so we can close this out.
God.
All right, I'm shutting up now.
Oh, no, it's fine. God. Whew, okay.
Okay.
A bit of delay.
And?
Okay. Peter said he replied first. Yes. What? Sorry?
Are you getting nervous?
I'm never nervous. I'm totally in control.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what nervous people say.
Yeah. Actually, I was going to compliment it with a story.
Okay.
That's how I was going to wrap it up. And it was a story about myself, actually, because, oftentimes people think that, so, you're living in the corporate world. We already went over that and how they're overstimulated and so on. And they're just doing this on their everyday life. But then, you hone in on the people who are like the intense gym goers who not only live in the corporate world, and then they're like, then I got to go do like CrossFit, and then I got to, go get my workout in. And it's just like over stimulating. And then those guys come in and see me and they're like, oh, I don't know why I'm so injured. I don't know why I have neck pain all the time. I just kind of woke up like this. And I'm like, right. So if you go back in this, you kind of understand why now, because we just, educated the community on that. So that's great. But, there's overtraining, there's just overdoing it. And, when I was playing, obviously I was playing soccer at quite a high level. I got into that, and it gets addicting, and you get competitive, and it's like, you got to like train more and do more, and it's competition against, keeping your spot and making sure that you're the first one to go in the field. So, your mindset's in a place where you're just ultimately competing every single day. You wake up to compete. And then, your sleep becomes a bit crappy because you're not able to calm yourself down. So you're not getting that recovery period that you necessarily need, or you don't really understand you need it until pain really comes up, right? And this is exactly what Peter said, not necessarily overtraining, but under recovery. But I can tell, like, my coach used to have us doing like 3-a-day trainings. This was like way back in the day. And so 3-a-day trainings, like one early in the morning, one midday, one evening. And these were like fairly intense trainings. Like one time a day, we would do 10K run. And, for someone who maybe is, let's say, an overstimulated person to begin with, they're probably not able to get the recovery that they need. And I would say it's a person-to-person or player-to-player basis. So it really depends, what you're doing. But athletes aren't really trained to understand that component. Or people in everyday life, So, like, let's take it back to those people who are working in the corporate world and then go to CrossFit, and then they go out for drinks with their buddies, and then they go home and try to sleep, and they can't figure out why they can't get to sleep right away. It's like, well, what have you been doing all day? You're like overstimulating yourself so much. So you wonder why you have shortness in breath. You wonder why you're getting these headaches. You wonder why you stand up and you're always dizzy. It's like your body's really sending you a message to calm down. And the only reason why I can talk about it so well is because I've been there. I've been there a few times. Yeah. Like,
So you sort of overreached and you're just going hard for it. When you're thinking, everybody thinks, more exercise means less stress. And but you can go over the top, like everything. It's that moderation thing. It's like, and what's the right type of stressy level, or right level of activity and type of activity for you specifically? So yeah. So I mean, and I would like, my whole like vagus nerve issue came in when I was overtraining, studying at the same time, and traveling. So combination of all those three things, like going from time zone to time zone and place to place, you don't get the amount of rest that you need, your body needs. So that was my specific scenario, and how I probably layered in some I wasn't getting like the right amount of sleep or the right amount of rest and so on. So people talk about the rest and digest component, and I think it's kind of like bypassed. And everyone talks about breathing and stuff, and it's just like, well, you guys talk about it, but like, who's actually doing it? And how are you applying it in your everyday life? And how big of a component is it in your life? Everyone really wants to move first, or they want to exercise first, which I think is, we need that too. But you're not going to get an optimal performance if you're not resting. You're not doing the rest. I mean, for highest performance, and I've forgotten the name of the author, Pete, Maddie, you guys might know, but these guys are sports psychologists, and they use tennis as the example. It was actually a corporate text to get highest performance out of people, and how you had to kind of oscillate. In other words, there was that rest period and then to build, but not to overreach and then down. Same with, I've done triathlon training. It's the same. You're sort of building up, coming off, building up, coming off.
Yeah.
Right. To get that recovery. Because if you overreach as well, and you can check this with heart rate variability on how hard you go on a day. As my new, there it is, Aura Ring will let me know whether I'm good for training hard that day or not. But yeah, like you said, you can also overreach. You can do too much, and the competitive edge is starting to become in managing teams and people, I believe, where they're giving them enough rest to be at their optimum and getting them loaded up at the right time so that they're at their best just when they need to be.
You know, that's like when you play a team sport, you often get kind of lost in the mix, right? Because there's so many, and it's competitive within your team, I guess you could say. When it's individual, it's different because you tend to get that one-on-one attention. I mean, I guess you're still in a team sometimes as an individual sport athlete, you know, you compete in swimming and it's for you, but you're part of like, you know, maybe a national team or something like that. But I guess it's, you know, it's you against yourself, your personal best. So it's just, it's a different mentality, a different mindset, I find. Not that I've competed in many individual sports, so I can't really speak to that. I'm just playing squash right now, getting into it.
Right. Yeah, I hear you and I are going to be having a bit of a squash off, I believe.
We are. It's going down.
As long as
your aura ring is going to explode.
Yeah, it's probably an Achilles tendon or something that's going to go on my side. I might need an osteo for fixing that.
I can't
cut up my calf muscle and trace my my Achilles tendon. That'd be fun. Happened to my father. He snapped his Achilles tendon playing squash, and they heard it across the whole.
Yeah, it's a big
inside the thing.
Yeah,
he's a bit bigger than me, but yeah.
No, it's a big sound when that happens. Like you can hear it. Yeah, it's a bit gross.
Like a gunshot. Yeah, gross. You've heard it, haven't you? I think you told me the story once. Where it went off. There's a gun's gone off. And it's like there's someone on the floor going, "Oh shit, I can't walk."
Yeah.
Now, so rounding this up then to try and land this within the 30, 40 minutes that we said we would go for. So they're going to take us 20 minutes to close out.
After everyone, I feel like everyone watching was trying to get us off track. Not gonna lie, Troy and they were trying.
I think Peter Rouse has now got competition. I think.
I know.
Yeah, God, that's about time. Thanks for leading the pack, Pete. So that's an USIO. Many swimmers I work with have some coach who has them practice the night of ABC morning of a meet makes no sense. Teenagers, right? Get ready for paintball here in New Zealand. Yeah, just make sure we don't mix up the bullets, okay, Pete?
Pete, you're going down.
Okay with you?
Pete's going down.
Going down.
Yeah.
Right.
It's on.
Okay. Right.
No vagus nerve stimulation in that scenario. Full on.
Yeah. Right. Man.
Yeah.
So I'll just be doing some yoga on the side, guys, while you're paintballing. Then people have got these issues. We've explained them. We've explained a bit about what's going on and perhaps how they feel some of the symptoms. Then you're a pain management expert. How does that get treated? What do you do? Just ask them a bunch of questions and say, hey, dude, slow down, get some more sleep?
Well, this is kind of, it depends if you're in person, right, with your client or not, because there's a lot of teaching that needs to happen in education about this person, about their particular scenario. Because I would say you can't really put everyone into a box that's hopping into the office because their lifestyle is so different. You toss like kids into the mix and then their corporate life, and then maybe they're a competitive athlete, maybe they're not. So you can see how everyone's kind of coming in a different direction, or coming to me in a different direction, which I think is great because it's interesting to work with all these people and try to get them to have a different integrative lifestyle that's more calming is really what it comes down to. So what I like to do is chat with them about what their day looks like and really get a good picture of what's going on. As a practitioner, yes, there's ways to, stimulate the vagus nerve to really calm it down and to to work the digestive area, like the actual viscerals. We tend to do that as osteos. I'm not going to get into the techniques, but, there's stimulation and there's work that we can do that's hands-on for sure. But it really comes down to their habitual lifestyle change that they're doing outside of the practice as well, and outside of our coaching calls. So sometimes I ask, I'll pop in just like a little text. I'm like, oh, how's your day going? They're like, oh my God, it's so stressful, da 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 da. And it's kind of like, well, have you remembered to just pop into your app and do like rest, be, relax, or like Peter said, like with kids, I love using like the balloon. And they just kind of go to a space and actually do this. And it's like, people are like, oh, I can't do that. It's not normal. And it's like, well, go to the bathroom stall and like have some time to yourself. Right. So, it's just checking in with them constantly to build that habitual change, and also having them recognize why they need to do it, because they will start to feel more calm and they will start to really like that feeling, and they'll want it more often, and then they'll realize, okay, yeah, I need to actually do the work on a daily basis to get there, if that makes sense.
Right.
Did I explain that well? Did I answer your question? I don't know.
Yeah, it was basically take a chill pill.
Yeah. Blow up a balloon.
Yeah. You blow up a balloon. Not with dynamite, with your breath. Okay? So, blow up a balloon. Keep away from blowing up the condoms. They're only for the trained that have strong enough lung system.
What is wrong with you guys today?
Who wants to be normal? What is normal? So, all right. I have one request then, Anne, as we end this up. And before I do ask.
I'm nervous.
Are you nervous? Good. I see that vagus nerve is operating in full swing. Yeah, there's a saber-tooth tiger behind you. If somebody wants some extra help regarding this, what are they, PM you, or you've got the site or community they should go to, or what's the deal?
Yeah, like what I'm doing is just chatting with people to help them educate them about themselves, for sure. And like Peter said, it's always nice to have a coach on the side to help guide people through this. And, it's not something that I'm like selling or doing any of that at the moment. Like if people want to reach out, I can just chat with them about that. That's not a problem for me. Right. I think the one thing is too, it's nice to have a community to support you, because oftentimes people think like kind of they're the only one with like the issue, and and that they're the only one going through this, but I can tell you that you're not. And it's nice to just have that community support to bounce off ideas with the other community members, see what they're doing, having them share about their day is great. And I mean, you have a great community going on with heal.me, and there's lots of conversation happening in there. And I think that's just going to get stronger too, because it's going to make some big changes. Yeah.
Right. Thanks for the plug. I was going to plug myself as well. So, I mean, if people want to learn more, then more than welcome to come to heal.me and learn about these things and more.
Maybe I can do a live in there.
Maybe you can. Maybe I'll let you do a live in there. Yeah. Wow. I want Peter Rouse to do a live in there.
Me too.
That'd be fun.
Me too. And I want to be on the typing side so I can type offside stuff to him.
Oh, yeah. We'll be scripted up and ready, well armed with our paintball guns to shoot at Peter, metaphorically. What was I going to say? Heal.me. And I mean, just getting from a digital health point of view and the digital health tech, devices like this amazing toy that's not even a toy. This thing is serious. Look at how thin it is, and it's got so much tech.
Are you giving us the finger? You are giving us a finger.
I just want to show it on its own without its mates nearby that are taking up the rest of the stage, right? That is pretty good. I mean, an Aura Ring. I think I get a kickback if I send you to the right link. But anyway, the Aura Ring and HRV Elite is another one, which is one that goes over the finger, so you can do a spot measurement on HRV. But it's about when you do it. Anyway, guys, the reason I'm saying this is that your I'm going to speak English in a moment, parasympathetic nervous system and sympathetic nervous system, both which centralize through the vagus nerve highway, are small hands. Thanks, mate. So if you check your HRV score and you're in between parasympathetic and sympathetic, which is where you kind of want to be, you can monitor it. But to change it, you need to listen to advice from people like Anne on how you can change that state, right? So you can monitor it. So
all the goodies are in there, for sure.
All right, one final thing, Anne. I want you to say, remember to be present today.
Are you going to make me say
right now?
Oh God, French.
In French. I want you to close us out in French.
Oh gosh, people are going to rip me apart for this.
I look forward to seeing that.
Restez dans le présent, ici, maintenant, maintenant. Voilà.
Cool. Can you do that again?
No.
Okay. Damn. All right. Well, there you heard it in French and in English. So remember to live life. Be present right here, right now, guys. If you go on, sorry.
No, I kind of messed it up, but it's okay.
Oh, you can do it again.
No, it's okay. It was close enough. Okay. Close enough.
It's close enough.
Yeah.
All right, you're about to be beaten up by your French colleagues. Yeah, guys, heal.me community. If you want to learn more about this sort of stuff, which is here on the Middle Age Millennial page, or PM myself or Anne directly to learn from our respective areas, her to help you make a change and for me to help you watch that change happen. We'll take it from there. We'll see you on the next FB Live, coming to you tomorrow with our resident foodie, Anne Wenstrom Murphy. It's such an easy, almost as easy as my surname, about nutrition, and topic will be a surprise, in fact, to me as well. Okay. All right, guys. We'll catch you on the next one. Okay,
Bye.
bye.
Thank you.